Hey guys, I'm Jessie, and today I have a really fun video for you because we are going to talk about 10 books that I really want to get to in the first quarter of this year. And if I do not either get to these books or if I end up not enjoying them, they're going to be unhauled. I have so many books on my physical TBR. I am really bad about going to places like the library sale and the used bookstore and things like that, and just buying what sounds cool, right? And I have done that way too much. This year's goal is to get my physical TBR down, but that doesn't necessarily mean I am going to read all of those books. And I really want to kind of condense my collection, make sure everything is books that I absolutely either am super excited to read or that I loved and read and want to read again. So I am devising myself a TBR clean out project. These books will self-destruct in a quarter if I don't read them kind of thing. I've seen it done on BookTube and really enjoy the concept of it in those videos. So these are 10 books I want to read in the very first quarter. I'm giving myself permission to DNF them if I am not loving them. And if I do, they're getting unhauled. If I don't get to them at all, they're also getting unhauled. Any book where I have a couple of these, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these books. I have multiple books in the series already. Like I already own either the whole series or like the first and second book. And if I end up either DNFing or not getting to them, I have to get rid of all of the ones in that series that I have. So hopefully this works out for me because for one, I need more room on my shelves. Let's be real. And for two, I like to be able to take stuff either to the used bookstore and then I get credit, but then like we kind of recycle this problem again, don't we? But then I also give a lot of books to my nieces. I have 2 nieces. One is 16, one is 12. They both love to read, so I always am donating books to them. But all right, without further ado, let's get into this. The first one on this list is one I've been meaning to get to for like years now. I read the first book in this series. Really enjoyed it. It was a fast read, a fun read. So I purchased like a box set when I saw it for sale on like Book Outlet like 3 years ago for super cheap. But then I have not continued on in the series. And that is the Lunar Chronicles. So this is Scarlet. So this is the one that I have to read within the quarter. If I do not read this book, I have to get rid of the whole series. And if I don't like it, I will also get rid of the whole series. Honestly, I feel like this is one that my 12-year-old niece would really love. So if I do end up either not getting to this or not loving it, I am going to pass it on to her because I think it'll be one that she can read because it's like younger YA. But this is a like super popular fantasy series. I don't think you really need like an explanation on what the Lunar Chronicles are. The first book is a Cinderella retelling. I'm pretty sure this is some Little Red Riding Hood in here. It's a lot of fantasy, old fairy tale retellings in a fantasy sci-fi world, and I'm here for it. The first book was good, and I read it super fast. I do like Marissa Meyer, so hopefully I'll either love it or pass it on. The next one is, you can't really tell what it is, but it is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I think this is the first book. I picked it up at like thrift books and like it didn't have a dust jacket, but like whatever. I have never read this series. I read The Mortal Instruments a long time ago and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I ended up actually getting rid of all 6 books. I took them to the used bookstore. But I've heard that I will probably like this one better. So I have all 3 books in this series because I was able to get all 3 of them. So I got this one at thrift books and then the other 2 they had at the library sale one year. So I picked up the other 2. They were like 75 cents a dollar, something like that. Library sales, y'all. If you need books, cheap library sales. Anyway, I'm gonna try to read it. I'm not super hopeful for it. I know it's kind of tropey, and I'm pretty sure there's a love triangle. Like, all things that kind of throw me off. And I didn't love The Mortal Instruments. Like, it was just not my favorite, and I did read them all, and I just didn't, like, love it. So we're going to see what I think about this and if I want to continue it or if I want to pass it on. Next, we have A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I've heard really good things about this. I've just had it forever. I also have book 2, and I almost bought book 3 the other day, and I was like, don't get it. Wait till you read this one and book 2 and see. So we're putting this one on the list because I'm not 100% sure. I like retellings. I'm not a huge Beauty and the Beast fan. That was never my favorite. Gasp, a reader that doesn't love Beauty and the Beast. It just wasn't my favorite of the Disneys. And I know it's like there's other not Disney iterations, but it just was never my favorite Disney except for that library. But the library was the best part of that movie. Let's be honest. But yeah, I know it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I've heard such good things, but we're putting it on this list because I'm either going to read it or let her go. The next one is The Princess Will Save You. And I have heard mixed things about this. This is a, I believe, Princess Bride gender flipped kind of retelling. And I'm pretty sure like the princess is the one that has to save the farm boy. So it's like she's the princess. He's like Wesley, like straight as you wish. But she has to like kick ass and save him instead of like him having to save her. So that is the part that was intriguing to me. But it seems just kind of generic YA. And I've heard that it's just kind of generic YA. And I have been getting away from a lot of YA, like generic cool YA. And it's like, it's not that it's bad. It's just not what like calls it to me anymore. So we're going to read it, hopefully. Find out if we like it. I know there's a second book that came out recently or is coming out, so we'll see. Next one is the Spellbook for the Lost and Found. This is another like older YA novel that I've had for a while, and I don't think a lot of people really talk about this, at least not anymore. It might have been popular back when it came out, but I don't think I've heard anyone talk about it really. And I really want to check it out. For one, I was just intrigued by the cover. It sounds really cool, like witchy, and I really like that. Like I liked Nature of Witches. So I really like witchy books. But again, this may or may not be like too young YA tropey typical. So we're going to find out. That is why this is on this list. And if I love it, then yup. And if I don't, then we're passing it on. I feel like there's a theme here, and most of these books are YA. Like younger YA fantasy. So there's a theme. So we will see how that goes. Next is actually one that was a newer addition to my TBR, but we're adding it to this list. And that is The Coldest Touch. This is actually a new release. And this is the, I think, was it Fairy Loot or Illumicrate? I think it was Fairy Loot, maybe? And it was one of their second books, right? So they did a 2-book month, and this was the like extra book. And honestly, I wasn't super interested in this. It does sound cool, but it's, I think, heavily romance. And it's like a undead romance. Like if she can touch people and see how they died, and then the other person's a vampire. And it just seems real romancy and like not typically my thing. But I want to read it and see, because sometimes I will surprise myself and really like a romance. The next one is Aurora Rising by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I tried to read Nevernight by J. Kristoff and DNF'd it at 50 pages. I could not handle it. I'm hoping that this one is better because it's a co-authored book. I've heard good things. And I know the last book in the series just came out. So I'm hoping that I like this one because I really like YA sci-fi. Some of my favorite books recently have been YA sci-fi, like The Disasters and Skyward. So I'm really actually hoping, I have higher hopes for this one, I think, because I've been loving YA sci-fi. And I know this one is kind of giving me Disaster vibes, where it's like a ragtag group of people that like shouldn't really be working together, and they have to make it work together on a spaceship. So hopefully I like this one. The next one is American Royals. Honestly, I picked this up on a whim because I wanted something a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but this might be too outside of my comfort zone. This is alternate history, and it's set where instead of a like president, we have a monarchy here in the United States. And we kind of follow like what would happen if the United States has a monarchy as opposed to like a president and stuff like that. So I am not 100% sure about this book, but it's on this list because I'm either going to read it. And yeah, I think I got this at an Ollie's in the bargain bin. Yeah. I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds like it would be like a cool TV show, but I don't know how I'd like it in book form. The next one we got is And I Darken by Kristen White. Is that her name? Yeah. Kristen White, And I Darken. This is a like historical fantasy. I don't think there's a lot of fantastical elements in it, which is kind of fine, but it is a like gender flipped Vlad the Impaler. And I'm pretty sure our main character is also like a villain basically, because she is the Impaler. She is Vlad the Impaler. I'm really interested to read this. I've heard mixed things, but it definitely sounds like something I would like, with it being like from a villain's point of view kind of, and historical fantasy I actually really enjoy, even if there is not a lot of fantastical elements. So I have the first 2 books in this series, so hopefully I like it. And then the final book on this exploding TBR is There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. I've never heard anyone talk about this one either. It has been on my shelves forever. I think there's more books out in this series now. And I'm pretty sure it's like very Chosen One prophecy, but we don't know who the Chosen One is. And it says, Age of Darkness approaches. 5 lies stand in its way. Who will stop it or unleash it? So I think this is a very like Chosen One, but like Chosen One is also could be the bad guy. I don't know, but it sounded really cool. The cover's really pretty, and it has a cool map. So we'll see what I end up thinking about this one too. All right, that is all of my exploding TBR for this quarter. Let me know what you think about these books, which one I should read first. Like, I only have a 3-book TBR in the month of February, so I left room to pick up 1 or 2 of these and really get started. So let me know, which one should I pick up? Like, are there any on this list that you're like, girl, just DNF? Just read 2 pages and just get rid of it. You're not gonna like it. Are there any that you think based on my taste I'm just not going to like? Because I don't know. I'm thinking Aurora Rising might be one of the first ones because it's YA sci-fi, but we'll see how I end up feeling. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. My name is Jessie, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.